What's up, college baseball fans? Welcome to another episode of the 11.7 podcast. We are on weekend number 6 preview, and we will also recap the midweek on this episode. A lot of fun stuff. No Dimitri today. Dimitri is on his way to Italy. In fact, I think he's probably there by now. And he told us that his luggage got lost in Paris. So no computer for him. Very fun stuff, but we will miss the Riz God Dimitri Cordis as he takes his 7th adventure into playing professional baseball in Italy. He loves it over there. But that's part of the reason why we brought Noah on the team this year, so he can fill in. Bullpen guy, Jack is live from the press box of College of Charleston, getting ready to call the Winthrop game tonight against College of Charleston. So that'll be fun. And this episode is brought to you by Home Field Apparel. Go to homefieldapparel.com. Use promo code CWS25 for 15% off your first order. Josh from Home Field is becoming one of my best friends. He's the man. Talk all the time. So you guys go be nice to Home Field. They're nice to the game of not only college baseball, but college basketball right now, as we are on the eve of March Madness. Me, particularly, not a huge college basketball fan. But even for Thursday and Friday opening week, you got to fill out a bracket. You got to have fun with the boys. And Home Field launched so many new products for college basketball that you can wear for college baseball games to support your favorite team. So it's just homefieldapparel.com, promo code CWS25. Great. Boys, what a freaking midweek we had. I mean, there was 3 top 10 upsets. There was
Plenty.
more big-time moments. And we got a head coach at the Rice University. Big time. So, Noah, let's start with you. Because Jack and I have to talk about something here in a little bit. So I want to give you some screen time. Biggest moment of the midweek. Go.
Well, there were plenty of pups barking against some of the big dogs this week. I think you gave me the alley-oop for me to slam dunk this thing. Little brother, East Tennessee State, taking down Tennessee in the midweek. I wasn't able to catch as much of the games as I really wanted to. I am knee-deep in college basketball March Madness content right now. But this one, it was hard to miss because a lot of people were kind of talking about it. And, man, hell of a performance from the Bucks, who are a very solid team this year. They return on quite a bit of production in that pitching staff, and the offense is like top 15 in production so far this season. So shout out to the Bucks. What'd you guys maybe notice in this one that was more notable and stat wise, and who had a performance in that?
Yeah, I will start with this. It's not like Tennessee played a bad game. It was more of ETSU caught every break possible and took advantage of all the big moments. There were several times, like, for example, in the top of the ninth, Gavin Gallagher, that's his name, not Colin Gallagher. Gavin Gallagher hits, I think it was an 0-2 fastball at like 98 miles an hour for a home run to tie the game. And it's like, how often do you see a mid-major player turn around on a fastball that hard, tie the game in the 9th inning off of a great pitcher? And they made sliding catches, diving catches throughout the whole game. It was a big deal for ETSU and for the SoCon in general, just saying like, hey, we're a good conference. We haven't been to a super regional in who knows how long as a conference, but between ETSU, Samford, Mercer, Wofford, those type of schools have gotten UNCG. All of those schools have gotten really close in regionals to over the last 5 to 6 years. But yeah, ETSU, big moment for them, and we're done. No more undefeated teams in college baseball anymore as of March 18th.
Did you guys see on Twitter? I tweeted out this league. It was amazing because I think two of the bigger results of yesterday was Tennessee going down and then Florida State going down. Marco Dinges of last year's Seminoles team that went to Omaha got into it with Blake Burke in just replies of the final out of this game. It was tremendous.
Yeah, both of those guys proud alum of their school, and are they both playing pro ball together? Is that why they're tweeting at each other, or maybe friends from the past? I don't think it was bad blood, but It was definitely funny. It was a good moment for college baseball. Jack.
They are playing spring ball together. Marco is with the
Brewers.
Brewers as well as Blake Burke too. So there's a little bit of like, hey,
Yeah.
this is really funny, new friend. But remember that time you ripped my heart out of my chest last year in Omaha? That was fun. Ha 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 ha. One of those
Yep.
things.
So, anyways, I won an Uber Eats bet with Jack yesterday as well. Don't forget, I called the Mercer upset over Florida State just like they did it last year. And not only did Mercer throw their Friday night guy, Colin Cosper, their ace in the 7th inning to keep a lead, but they also just like Terry Busey, former Georgia Tech closer, Scary Terry comes in for 2 innings. The pitching was great. And it was like Mercer caught Florida State off guard, maybe looking ahead to their weekend series now. And that's going to be a trend pretty much every single season from now on. The midweeks after the first weekend of conference play for SEC and ACC
Yeah.
teams, you're going to sneak up on those guys. And we saw quite a bit this week, or on this Tuesday, of teams either drained from the weekend before and looking ahead to the next weekend, or teams just taking these mid majors lightly. But Jack, you went ahead and placed that Uber Eats order, and I'm excited about it.
So here's what those who maybe are tuning in today for the first time or missed us over the weekend. Don't let us forget that the Riz God Dimitri is really the reason that this all happened. Enemy number one of all mid majors. Guy had no belief in any of the teams that we shouted out. So the Uber Eats bet was really quite simple. Ben believed that Mercer had a shot to beat Florida State. I believe that Citadel had a shot to beat Clemson last night. They
And they
lose
did.
6-4. They lose 6-4 in a great game, but it was a ball game, right? So I go, hey, just one sided, got to win the game outright. So, ladies and gentlemen, Ben, without showing the address, will have tropical smoothie delivered to him. Estimated arrival at 3:15. It's going to be a beach bum, white chocolate, strawberry, chef's kiss for Mr.
Wow.
Upton here in a little bit. It's going to be the best $19 smoothie you ever had.
19.
Are you serious? A $19 smoothie. Uber Eats is such a scam.
Man of my word. Hey, if Matthew McConaughey is going to pitch it on Super Bowl Sunday for Uber Eats, he can take all my money just as long with that company as well. I'm all in.
What's Jerry eating? Rice.
Rice, baby.
That's great.
But yeah, shout out Jeb Johnson, 5.2 innings of 1-run ball. So
he's somebody that Mercer, I know, had high hopes
9
going into the
strikeouts.
season. He's somebody that I don't know has. I think they wanted him to start on the weekends coming into the season. It just didn't work out, and he got his big moment yesterday. And besides the one pitch he gave up to Max Williams that went 599 feet, he pitched really well, and the bullpen looked great too. So happy for Mercer. Now, here's the thing: between ETSU, Mercer, both top 5 upsets, they also have to start conference play this week, and I think they both threw their Friday night guys.
So
Just a bullpen day.
Yeah,
20
but I want
pitches.
to talk about that because we saw across the landscape. Ben, you were absolutely spot on in hey that week after conference play starts, you're going to catch these guys sleeping, and I don't know if sleeping is the right word. You're spot on in the analysis, but like Liberty, ACC Killers, they beat Wake last night. UTSA gets Texas. Southern Miss beating Ole Miss is not an upset. But like you catch an Ole Miss team who looked pretty good against Arkansas. South Alabama took Bama into extra innings, right? Like we had really, really, really good mid-major performances.
Yeah.
Why? I was at South Carolina College of Charleston last night. South Carolina wins on a walk-off balk, devastating loss for the Cougs. They looked like they played a really like strong 3 phases of baseball that we kind of talked about wanting to put together. And then listening to Coach Maneri in his postgame yesterday talk about this idea that he's like, hey, I am the last person out loud that's going to admit that we're looking ahead, but we kind of have to, right? Like we got Arkansas this week. We have North Carolina next Tuesday, and then we have Tennessee at home. Like you have to start playing chess and looking ahead to how you're going to stack our arms. Their starter last night was cruising. I can't throw him in the 7th because there's a chance I can now use him on Sunday in Fayetteville. Like it is a prime week, right? Like if you're a hypothetical investor, hammer those dogs because they are playing this right. Like this is an RPI implication game for obviously Mercer. I mean, more so maybe for ETSU, but like when you look at these teams that can stack big time P4 dubs this early in the season, like those hold a lot more weight. And it's why we're going to get those phantom rain delays and rainouts in April and May, because you have to look ahead in those conferences.
Yeah, you have to. And going back to like Maneri's point, their magic number is 14 SEC wins. If you get 14 SEC wins, you're in the tournament no matter what. If you
We
get
saw it with
15,
Florida
17,
last year.
18, you're going to
Barely
host
did
the regional.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, you said you can't hear me?
No, I said we saw it with Florida last year. They barely did
Oh.
anything in the midweeks, and they get 13 SEC wins, and they're in the tournament.
They're in the tournament, right? So, like these midweeks, they matter. You still got to make sure you win some midweeks to, I don't know, prove that you can win a regional or win 6 games in the College World Series.
And
'Cause
it's
you need-
important reps for a lot of the guys that don't get
Yeah,
the reps on the
100%.
weekends. A lot of the pitchers that don't get the innings on the weekends, they're out there trying to make a name for themselves and improve and maybe get a promotion to the weekend role too. So
For sure. And this is also, it's big for conferences like the SoCon, because
100%.
now you're looking, SoCon, I think right now is 11th conference in the RPI, which is the highest that they've been this late in the season in a long time. You're looking at potentially a 2-bid league if things start shaking up well between Samford and UNCG, who have both played really good against Power 4 teams. Wofford, we know what they can do. ETSU, Mercer, those guys. The SoCon's never been a 2-bid league, at least since the BB Corps era. And that's always something that it's a crowning achievement for a mid-major conference to say, hey, we had 2 teams in the tournament this year. We're that good. Something that like the CAA last year, they got screwed. I mean, I don't want to bring up the Charleston situation, but I know Jack knows all about it. Never mind. We'll pass over that.
But no, but it's why they've gone and played North Carolina and South Carolina this early in their schedule. Like they're having to make a more emphatic exclamation about, hey, like, look, we're doing it, right? Like we are making our best effort. They already had a game rained out against the Tar Heels. So it's like those games are huge for them. Now, granted, they did not throw their Friday night guy last night. Like they are getting ready for CAA play this weekend. But to your point, like the CAA and the SoCon, like it feels like the Sun Belt's going to get 3 to 4 every year now moving forward. But, the American, Conference USA, Big West, Big East, like these are conferences like where these midweeks mean a whole lot more than the P4 teams that they're playing. Like that's just a fact.
Right. Especially with what we've seen with like the basketball committee.
Oh,
what was it? 14 or 16? 14 SEC teams made the basketball tournament, right?
crazy.
Including Texas, who went 6-12.
Yeah. Nuts.
Like, you don't think they'll do that in baseball too? They absolutely will.
Oklahoma was the 6-12 team, but Texas didn't have the home win strength. Like they had dropped a couple of home games this year that were head scratching. They probably shouldn't have been in. So yeah, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. My point is just with these Power 4 conferences, that's where all the money's going to be made. They have bigger fan bases, and any excuse the NCAA has and these selection committees have to put in more of those Power 4 teams, they're going to do it. And that's why midweeks matter for these mid majors. If they can show that they're gonna be able to beat these guys consistently, that'll put them up on a higher pedestal for the selection committee.
I've always said that the little guys, the mid majors, have to do way more to prove that they are worthy than the high majors do have to prove a lot more that they are not worthy to get into the NCAA tournament. That's just unfortunately the way it is. And Ben hit on it with the money and the income revenue standpoint.
Right. Well, let's switch gears here a little bit. A couple more midweek games that I was flipping back and forth between. I caught the tail end of the Liberty Wake Forest game that Jack touched on. Liberty, I think they already have 3 ACC wins this year: NC State, Duke, and Wake Forest. Very good for them. I'm telling you, they're ACC slayers in the midweek. It's drilled in my brain. I have no stats to back it up, but every single midweek they beat an ACC team. Except they did lose to somebody this year, maybe North Carolina, or I don't know. And then we already touched on it. Bama has to walk off South Alabama. South Alabama hits a game-tying homer in the 9th. I believe they played 10 or 11 innings, but Will Hodo, Clutch Gene, the captain, they call him, walk-off bomb improves improves Bama to, what are they, 20-0 now? Or sorry, 20-1 or 21-1 now? Somewhere around there. And they get to host Tennessee this weekend, starting on Thursday. By the way, weekend series pick 'em picks. The deadline's Thursday. We messed up. Tennessee at Bama is Thursday, not Friday. So get your picks in.
Yeah, we did look at that though. I remember we for sure looked at that on Sunday night.
Warren Nolan was wrong. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was just wrong.
Oops. Yeah.
Oh well, what are you gonna do about it? And then something almost identical happens. UT Arlington ties the game up in the 9th against Oklahoma. Oklahoma walks it off. Easton Carmichael, one of my favorite players in the country. I think he's severely underrated with the walk-off hit. So those two games, South Alabama and UT Arlington are not these at-large bid type teams. They're good for their conference, good players, but it just shows like how Oklahoma and Alabama, who have been world beaters this year and have looked great, like they can slip up very easily against these solid mid-major teams.
Yeah, and Liberty, for what it's worth, going back to that game, they threw their ace once again in Dylan Matheson. Like they'll do that, but he actually got tagged in 2.2, gave up 5 earned. But Liberty just went to work on the entire pitching staff of the Deacs. It wasn't just like one inning. They put up plenty of runs in the first 5 innings of this game to win it. They tagged Areola for 3. So Bedford, who was a Friday night starter for Notre Dame, for 4. Like those are 2 really good arms for Wake that they hit pretty good.
What was his name?
I saw speaking of Wake Forest,
Joe Areola and Matt Bedford.
I saw Jake Mintz. Is that his name? Jake Mintz from Cespedes Barbecue.
Yeah.
He tweeted out a screenshot of, I cannot remember who the Wake Forest pitcher was, but he's thrown 10 innings this year, 21 strikeouts and 15 walks, like a true 3 outcome pitcher. So funny. I got to see what he looks like. I got to stand in the box against him because his stuff must be untouchable.
I'd be scared of it.
Last game here, as far as like notable upsets, if you want to call it that, Murray State beats Kentucky. That's the ultimate. Kentucky grinded out 3 games against Georgia. They ended up winning 1 out of 2, so they didn't get swept on the road. And then you got to play a really pesky Murray State team that I think has one of the best mid-major pitching staffs in the country. And Murray State wins 5-4 or 6-5, somewhere like that. And big win for them.
Love that. Let's can I go to the game? I mean, I can't. This has probably got to be an 11.7 2025 record. We've gone 18 minutes without talking about the Aggies. We're going to talk about them, but maybe not so much about the Aggies, but the Islanders. They win by 10. They beat Texas A&M Corpus Christi. But folks, can I submit 2025 Play of the Year? Are we good? Shout out to the boy Christian Smith Johnson flying over the wall. A la, who was that in Boston? Was it Torrey Hunter that went
Torrey
flying?
Hunter falls over the wall.
This
Yeah,
one
Hunter
was
didn't
better.
catch it though. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point. That's a good point.
yeah, that play lives in my nightmares. That's the David Ortiz grand slam that ended the season there in 2013.
That's right. Well, then Christian Smith Johnson goes and catches this ball at Blue Belt, which is kind of like the cherry on top of the season that Gavin Cash has had, like just a home run, no doubt. And then this guy goes full on Superman. Can we have a conversation about people like being upset that they hate the rule that this is not a home run? Like, are you kidding me? Who cares? That was the sickest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, isn't the rule?
I'm
Like,
on
if he
I'm on the
drove
team
over the
home run.
fence,
Really? Your team home run?
Yeah,
Ben,
I feel like you got to have a foot in play on that, like
he was
because I know
flying.
it's somewhat similar to like running into the dugout and catching a ball, running like out of play and travel ball and catching a ball type thing. Don't you have to have a foot in play for most of those foul balls? And then for home runs, no, you can just go flying over the fence and catch it. It's weird.
well, I think as
Yeah,
long as you make
How
contact with
dare
the
him.
fence. My assumption of the rule, and I should probably ask my dad, he's an umpire now, but my assumption of the rule is if you make contact with the fence and you fall over the fence, like you're still in the field of play.
Gotcha.
Really?
That would be my assumption.
I'm in the boat. Guys, you got to understand, when I call games, if a guy hits a ball over 95 miles per hour and the kid in the infield boots it, I'm team hit over error every time. So I'm
All
team
the time.
hitter. Let me make something very clear. But yes, Noah, you are spot on. If a guy runs into the dugout, you got to have a foot in the field of play in order for it to be an out. The only difference we're talking about here, that doesn't take a run off the board.
No.
I don't care if Christian Smith-Johnson, like a hurdler in the Olympics, flies over the wall and then runs 20 more feet and catches it. That's a catch. I mean, if we get a big leaguer to climb the wall like a treehouse, run up 6 aisles, grab a bite of a hot dog, and catch it in camp, catch. That was one of the craziest plays I've ever seen. So we've been on the same page, same frequency all year. I could not disagree with you more here. But we love.
You want to know a funny story about what happened last night?
I found
with that
the guy for Ben too.
Oh, Noah, you lagged out a little bit. What'd you say?
Sorry, is it my connection that's bad?
Uh-oh. Yeah. There he is. Uh-oh, Ben.
Sorry, I said I found the guy. It was Joe
He's
Areola.
really-
He had 21 Ks and 10 walks in 11 innings.
Oh, the guy for Wake Forest. Yes, there he is. Joe Areola.
Has he been there his whole career? Or did he start at Elon? That's my guess. Guess that school.
I have no idea. But that severely damaged your Wi-Fi connection there, Noah.
Yeah. Don't go back to the wheelhouse.
Maybe stay off the internet, dude.
Yeah.
I'm going to treat you like you're 11 years old. No internet right now. Till after dinner.
Hands-free pod. Areola is a funny name. No one even batted an eye, by the way. I had to ask 3 times. He's like, yeah, no, that's Joe Areola. Okay, we're not going to not giggle even a little bit.
Yeah. But going back to the Christian Smith-Johnson catch, listen to this, guys. So 2 minutes before that catch happens, I'm scrolling Twitter and I see that Indiana posts an unbelievable catch from Tyler Cerny, the shortstop at Indiana. And my caption was about to be Derek Jeter could never. And because I hate Derek Jeter. I think he's overrated. People are going to absolutely hate me saying that, but I don't know. Just wasn't I think that Jeter's way more hyped up than never mind. I'm not going down that path.
I'll do it.
I was about to say Derek Jeter could never for this Tyler Cerny catch. As I'm tweeting the caption, I'm actually watching the Islanders and Aggies game because it was close at that time. I think it was 7-7 or something. I don't remember, but it was a close game. And sure enough, Smith-Johnson dives into catches the ball, falls into the stands, and I'm like, well, that's another Derek Jeter play right there. Even though this one was fair territory. It was it looked like Jeter's catch down the left field line.
Jeter caught it with 20 yards in front of him before the wall, and then he threw himself into the stands. How about that, Yankees fans?
Ben, I thought we had an intern tweeting out a lot of the game clips from yesterday.
We did. We did have an intern. We did have an intern yesterday. No, it was actually me. I messed up one clip, and this guy DMs me, and I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm an intern filling in for everybody. Just to get out of jail free card. No, that was me paying half attention to the game. Whoops.
Awesome.
The last thing there's 2 more things I want to talk about for the midweek. Boys, we're going to have an Edinburgh, Texas regional, and I'm going to make it happen. We got to start pushing the agenda right now that UT Rio Grande Valley deserves a regional. Facilities, top of the line. Crowd, they had 5,115 people in a midweek game against Texas Southern. Texas Southern, not University of Texas, Texas Southern. And then 3, they're really good this year. 14-3, have wins over Dallas Baptist, played close with Southern Miss, and then they swept Lamar, swept Nichols State, and swept somebody else in the Southland. They're 9-0 in the Southland. Crazy start for the Vaqueros. That would be sweet too. That is equally to me a Hawaii regional. Give me an Edinburgh, Texas regional. That's what I want to see.
I love it.
Where's the Southland Conference RPI right now? The Border loves their baseball.
Do you know what it is? Because I knew. I looked at it earlier.
They used to be 5. I don't know if they're still up there.
I think they're I think they're a little lower. I think they're right around the SoCon now. Like
No,
9 to
so
10.
there's 6 right now,
Six.
but
Oh.
technically the Independent is in front of them, even though that's just Oregon State. So
State.
technically they're 5. So
Right.
Fine.
pretty legitness.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good start. You got to have a good conference RPI early in the year because that's where you make up the most ground. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
and it won't hurt you playing all the conference games. That's what typically
Exactly.
will kind of drop the RPI season long as you play more against your conference foes.
Yeah, the preseason, pre-conference play is so important. That's why the SEC is always number one in conference RPI, and why they have 5 to 7 hosts every year, is because they go 210 and 20 against non-conference opponents. It's scary. Anyways, last thing, Nolan Schubart, 517-foot homer, opposite field. I know the wind was blowing out like 30 or 40 miles an hour, but still, you're not supposed to hit a baseball that far. But
Opposite
he's a
field,
big, strong man.
that
Yeah,
far
definitely.
to Oppo.
Yeah.
Ben, do you think we could you could hit a ball, pick it up, and hit a ball that far? Because I know I couldn't.
0%. You can take my 2 furthest opposite field hits of my career, and it doesn't add up to be 517 feet.
I didn't hit a backside home run in batting practice until my junior year of college, and I did it, and I thought I was going to get drafted later that night.
If you
Awesome.
want to hit 500-foot dingers, though, Stillwater's the place to do it. Wasn't it like
Yeah.
Griffin Dorsing who did it like at that new
Oh.
stadium, put it off the scoreboard?
Oh,
Yeah.
my God. Griffin Dorsing, I still love that guy.
He's a
One of my
Viking.
favorite college players of all time.
We became big Griffin Dorsing fans because obviously I'm a big Austin P guy, and I only became a big Austin P guy initially because my buddy Lyle Miller Green, who I played with in college at George Mason, transferred there. But before that, he was like this massive recruit out of Chipola to Oak State, and the only reason he couldn't get on the field is because they had freaking left tackle Griffin Dorsing playing right in front of him. He's the only guy on planet Earth that made my 6'6", 245-pound Lyle Miller Green look small. Griffin Dorsing looks like Taylor Lewan from Bustle with the Boys after he lost all the weight playing in the NFL. He's huge.
Freaking giant. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I had written down for the midweek. There is one more like top story that we probably should have started the show on, but Rice gets their head coach, David Pierce. It wasn't too crazy to connect the dots. He's somebody that he was an assistant coach at Rice during those runs in the early 2000s, goes to Tulane, head coach, does such a great job there. The University of Texas comes calling after Augie Garrido leaves. And dude, people forget David Pierce was a beast at Texas.
Yes.
What was it, 3 out of 5 years there in the College World Series? Something along those lines?
Yeah, I when you said it wasn't hard to connect the dots, he was literally the first name that I even thought to research, and I was like, oh yeah, he was an assistant at Texas State. And I texted you guys. I was like, I'm ready to like blast this across Twitter if you guys want me to. Like he, I think, made the NCAA tournament in 11 out of 12 years as a head coach. He went perfect at why am I blanking? Sam Houston and the spot he was right before Texas. Where was he at?
Oh, Tulane?
Yeah, Tulane.
Yeah.
Perfect there. He only missed one tournament at Texas and 3 College World Series. I think he was 11 for 12 in NCAA tournament appearances.
Yeah, the guy's a winner. And that's why it was so surprising last summer when Texas got rid of him like so quickly. It's crazy. But man, that's the perfect fit for Rice. You go get your experienced coach who's a winner. He knows the culture about Rice baseball, and he knows the recruits in the state of Texas. He's somebody that can easily pick up the phone and get a commitment from somebody that's committed to Texas Tech and switch him over to Rice. He's going to be dangerous. So, and it wasn't even like he was leaving a huge role at Texas State. It was almost like Coach Trout at Texas State was like, oh my God, David Pierce is available to like hire on the coaching staff. Like, let's go get him. They already have a unbelievable pitching coach and hitting coach there at Texas State. 2 young guys that are, I think, both former pro. I think they both coached in pro ball. One for the Twins and somebody else. But besides the point, like Pierce was there as mostly like a sidekick to Coach Trout. So it wasn't like he was leaving a team and they have to go and hire a new hitting coach or pitching coach or whoever. He was more of a bench coach, father figure to that staff. And yeah, sure, you're going to take that head coaching job at a heartbeat. So,
Well, I think we're kind of teasing at it a little bit, but we haven't even really mentioned the craziest part. I think we went 30 minutes without bringing up this story because I know I personally was a little bit butthurt that the Rice admin didn't even kind of listen to our podcast on Sunday and consider the 9 other names we mentioned, but that's neither here or there. With that being said, the craziest part about that story is he was in a dugout on Sunday and he's going to be in Boca Raton coaching the Rice Owls on Friday. He's going to coach this week.
yeah.
Like, that's nuts, man. So I don't really can you imagine being in that dugout? Like, what's that going to look and feel like moving forward for those guys in that locker room? But to me, that's the nuttiest part about this story.
Well, the good news for those guys is this is an open tryout right now for those Rice players because if they don't play well this year, Pierce isn't going to invite them back. He has no ties to these guys, did not recruit them. And I think you're going to see a new fire under Rice. Like, hey, these players are going to play hard for him, trying to earn a spot next year because we know how the transfer portal is. You leave a Division I school, you're not guaranteed to go to another Division I. You might be going down the road to Wharton Community College, or you might be playing Division III baseball in Houston, St. Thomas University. So you're going to see a much better effort from Rice baseball.
I 100% agree all around. I think it was a home run hire for the Owls.
Yeah, it was the best that they could do, 1,000%. So,
well, I mean,
all right, you guys ready
number
to
one? No, I think 1B to the 1A of hiring us, but that's again, you keep belittling what we would have brought to the table. But that's fine.
Yeah, I
know
love
Coach
that
Pierce,
somebody was in Kendall's mentions saying that that he stole 11.7's beat or whatever. And I was like, that wasn't even my favorite hire option. I was like, they should have gone for Ben Upton.
Yeah, well, David Pierce knows that he's on the hot seat immediately because the 11.7 guys are lurking, ready to steal his job.
Yeah,
Some
breathing
are just
down the neck of his favorite program growing up.
He's just Did they mention in the article that he's the interim head coach while we get ready for the off season? I didn't
We're
see
all
that
looking
part.
for houses in Houston right now.
We're bringing the NIL through our Patreon subscribers. Go ahead and sign up.
Dixon Ticonderoga is be the biggest NIL sponsor we got. Duh.
Speaking of Dixon Ticonderoga, did you see they're giving away a 6-foot pencil?
Yeah, you tagged me in it. I still can't get a dang response from the folks over at Ticonderoga, for God's sakes.
What would you do with
They're
a
so
6-foot pencil?
What would I do with it?
Yeah.
I mean, I would take it everywhere I go. Everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
How heavy do you think it is, though?
It's made of wood. Pretty heavy,
So
I
heavy.
assume.
I'd use it as a weapon.
How are you going to sharpen it?
That's a great question.
That's a
Big
great question.
sharpener. Big sharpener. A big knife.
You need a 2-foot sharpener for your 6-foot pencil.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. All right, you boys want to talk about the weekend?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so we have the weekend series preview coming up. For our pick'em, we got 6 series, and you guys heard us on the last episode trying to narrow it down from 9 series to these 6. We have LSU at Texas, no-brainer. Tennessee at Bama was a no-brainer until we found out after we already submitted everything that it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. We have to be careful with that, but it wasn't our fault. Warren Nolan had it as a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. So, anyways.
It must have been a late shift from the SEC because they wanted to put that game as like a primetime isolation game.
But that's dumb, right? Think about this. They're going to be competing with March Madness Thursday.
Yeah.
So that series should be it should have been a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday series this week. It should have just rolled into it. Not competed with March Madness. Anyways, that's stupid. Next series, UC Irvine at Santa Barbara. Probably going to be the winner of this series is going to win the Big West regular season unless Hawaii sneaks up. Coastal Carolina at Troy. It feels like we've had Coastal and Troy 9 times already this season in 6 weeks, but we will pick that series. Arizona at West Virginia. Arizona, big midweek win against Kansas. Forgot about that. 5-0.
Yeah.
And Yeah, the Cats are playing well, but what if that's a far travel from
It is.
Arizona to West Virginia?
Well, I don't think they're going back to Tucson after playing against Kansas and Lawrence, right? That was in Lawrence.
No,
Yeah, it was pit stop.
I
It
think
was
it was
in
in
Tucson?
Arizona. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough travel spot.
Not.
Is that
I
the
don't
two
think,
furthest Big 12 teams from each other?
No, got to be BYU and UCF, right?
I just think
Ooh.
the BYU UCF one is the tougher one because you're going from sunny and
Yeah.
75 to
Sea level
mountains
to mountains too.
and
Yeah.
snow. Like it snowed for the UCF series, so that was a tough trip. But distance wise, this might be it.
You think they make
Yeah.
them take a bus?
if it was like a mid-major conference, yeah, they're bussing.
Yeah, they're
That's a
bussing
fun
that.
trip.
Is Utah
And then last
farther
but not
west?
A what?
Sorry, I digress. My brain is going elementary on us. Is Utah farther west than Arizona?
No, don't think so.
Are you
I
sure?
think
Arizona's
Arizona's further west.
southwest. Yeah.
I think Arizona's further west, but I need to look that up now.
No,
I wouldn't say
I got you.
elementary school brain. That is a valid question. They're very
It's like
similar.
Golden-
All
there's
right,
a
you
golden
look up.
retriever tracing
You
the
look up
truck.
the distance between Tucson and Morgantown. I'll do Provo and Orlando.
So
'Cause Utah
Tucson,
feels pretty far.
Tucson and Provo are like almost on the same longitude line,
Okay.
like maybe 20 miles east-west of each other, but
Love
Provo
it.
a little bit further west.
Love
But
it.
Tucson's also
So-
way further south.
Orlando to Provo is a 34-hour drive.
All right, let me do Tucson to Morgantown.
I'd do
It's
it.
ridiculous that they're in the same conference.
All
I
right,
know,
so
it really is.
Tucson to Morgantown is 2,064 miles, or also 30-hour drive.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
shorter.
Shorter.
Wait, what was
Jack is
UCF
right.
and Provo?
34 hours. 2,300 miles.
But
Wow.
you gotta go up. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
kind of got to go up
Yeah.
and left.
That's an age-old traditioned conference matchup, just like Washington and Rutgers. That's gonna be
Yeah.
beautiful baseball.
Oh, speaking of Washington. one
Oh
more
my
midweek
God,
thing.
we didn't mention it.
What a sad day for Washington baseball, losing to Pacific Lutheran? Portland Lutheran? Pacific Lutheran.
Pacific Lutheran, you had it right the first time.
A 5-6 Division III team goes into Washington's home stadium and beats them, and that's a tough loss.
Yeah, Pacific Lutheran with a loaded RPI though in the D3 ranks. Though you got to be careful. That's a very skewed 5-6 D3 record.
Yeah, shout out to my buddy Jake Fettner of CBS Sports. We were talking about this in our fantasy group chat. Ben goes, that must be Portland Lower University.
I couldn't think of what PLU stood for. Portland Lower was the only thing I could like. Lower Portland, but yeah, Portland Lower was my guess.
And I just the response from Jake was just all time because he's the smartest guy I know in this space. He goes, my model thought it was Pacific, so that was the only reason why I knew that it was Pacific Lutheran.
That's awesome.
That would have been a great Club Bromaha, though, if we would have Club Bromaha it yesterday. Get Pacific Lutheran's coach on.
That would have been legendary.
Pacific Lutheran's Twitter account tweeted like, our DMs are open at Big Ten.
Yeah.
That was great.
Really? That's pretty good. Good admin work, boys.
Last week in series, sorry, we got off topic, but Wake Forest at Clemson, which I think will be a great series.
I mean, all of these are. That's why they made the cut, right, Ben?
Yeah. Before we do all of it, which one of these would you guys look at as your survivor pick? Just don't think about it. You look at the board, you're like, oh, this would be my survivor pick.
Clemson at home.
Clemson at home, right? I think that's what a lot of people are going to do is Clemson at home against Wake Forest.
I like Troy.
Yeah.
Troy.
Coastal's road offense is very questionable.
It's fair. But their pitching's been really, really good.
It's been great. I love the staff this year.
All right, well, let's get into it. Let's start at the bottom and go up. We used to do this last year. It was way more fun because I think that those top 2 series, LSU at Texas and Tennessee at Bama, we want to
They're heavy
save those
hitters.
for the headgear. Yeah, headgear series.
Yeah.
So Wake Forest at Clemson. Noah, you're hitting leadoff. Tell us everything we need to know about these 2 series, and then give your pick. And then I'll give Dimitri's pick. He sent him over to me, and then me and Jack will make ours.
All right, this one was actually a quick handicap for me. Two very tight teams to separate when it comes to just resumes so far. I think Wake Forest has dropped a couple of midweek games that might make them look a little bit more prone to lose a road game or two in this series. I'm going to go Clemson at Doug Kingsmore. I think game 1 is very, very interesting because Logan Lunsford's one of those breakout SP1s of the year so far. The transfer from Missouri, put him in the pitching lab, and he's turned into an absolute superstar on the rise in the ACC. And he's going up against Aiden Knock, who's been steady Eddie for the Tigers ever since he got on campus. Where Clemson kind of gets hurt is the Dane Moeller injury. He was expected to be a weekend rotation arm for them. Preseason, he's done for the year. And on Sundays, Justin Lagurnick has kind of been the weak link of the rotation. And the Tigers Sundays games have kind of turned into shootouts. So if Wake can steal one of the first 2 games and get into that Sunday and put up some runs, they have a shot to win this series. But I'm going with Clemson here.
Yep, Dimitri also took Clemson, and I will be taking Clemson as well. If this series was at Wake, I would be way more tempted to go to Wake Forest, or go the Wake Forest route. But when it comes down to it, you close your eyes and you think okay, Wake Forest of 2025. Let's not think about them 2023, 2024. Their 2025 team, although they are good, they don't have quite the star power or anywhere close to the star power that they've had previously. And Clemson at home is always the safest prediction I can make, and they've been unbelievable at home the last, really since Bakich has gotten there. For example, that Florida State series last year, they had no right to win that series. They were down, score 7 runs in the 9th to take the lead. They're never out of the game at home. So give me Clemson.
I've decided we're week 6 now. Is that finally, or is that where we're at?
Yeah.
I'm going to stop picking predicated on y'all's answers. I'm going to shoot from the hip. I'm going with my own homework and knowledge because I feel like I'd usually just go Wake here to save the board, but I am going to take Clemson at home, and I like it for a couple of reasons. I think their basketball team's going to lose. I think they're going to lose to McNeese, so I think there's just going to be an overflow of baseball fans at Duncan Kingsmore this weekend because they're going to be sad that their basketball team's out of the race. And then secondly, I love this idea, and I feel like this is going to piss a lot of people off as well. I love this idea that when you see trends across not only just the sport, but college athletics as a whole, anybody a little when you look at the ACC top to bottom right now, a little disappointed? Right now, to me, we're all going to take Clemson. To me, it's Clemson and Wake right now. And if you were to say those are the only 2 teams from the ACC that get to Omaha or make a deep postseason run, I wouldn't be too shocked. The ACC from top to bottom has just been a little bit disappointing. So I think it's going to be really fun to see. I think the 2 best teams in the conference duke it out because right now in college basketball, the ACC has a pretty big down year. And I think baseball's kind of trending in that direction as well. So I think they're going to need and rely on these 2 teams to kind of carry a lot of the weight from the national conversation standpoint. Obviously, Florida State losing 1 midweek isn't why I'm too fearful of leaving that out of that conversation. I just think who has played the best consistent baseball in the ACC? It's these 2 teams. And I think at the end of the year, we're going to have that same conversation.
Very good. Very good, everybody. All right, Noah, talk to us about Arizona and West Virginia.
Yeah, so that was an unfortunate weekend for West Virginia last weekend in Stillwater. Fires wipe out the Friday and Saturday game, and then that what was supposed to be game 3 on Sunday turned into a kitchen sink game for both pitching staffs. Both Steve Savins, the head coach of West Virginia, and Josh Holliday elect to go SP1, SP2, SP3 top bullpen arms in that game. They just ran it all out there. Give it all you got. So I don't know how that might affect Dub V in this upcoming weekend series, whether or not Griffin Kern will be ready to go for Friday. Chase Meyer closed that game out, I think, with 3 innings. He's been their typical Sunday guy. So I don't know who's going to get the nod early in this one. What I do know is that Arizona has been really hot ever since they left the Shriners, but those were 3 games away from the juice box, as they call it, the high C, High Corbett Stadium there in Tucson. So they're 1-3 away from home. They won their one true road game. I think it was at Rice, ironically, who we've talked about on the show already.
Mhm.
So I just have a little bit more question, just uncertainty of what West Virginia is going to do with the pitching staff. And I've seen them kind of jump into these high scoring matchups. Now the one game with Oklahoma State and then the 3 home games against Kennesaw State. I think that suits Arizona's very experienced lineup better in this type of series. So I'm going to go with the Wildcats here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good pick. They've been rattling off a ton of wins. Like one of their only losses in their last 14 or 15 games was to Tennessee in Houston. So yeah, they've been looking good. And that was your preseason College World
National
Series winner, right?
championship pick. Yeah.
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 Looking a lot better than it did after week 1.
Yes.
So for me, I'm not going to fade the facility here. I think what West Virginia is doing after having to like replace guys like JJ Weatherholt and who is the lefty guy that threw 100 innings for him last year? I cannot think of his name.
Gosh, he went to Northwood too in my area.
David,
He was
no,
shoved against North Carolina.
Damn it.
but yeah, he was a true Friday guy for him last year. No, go ahead and look it up. But when like this will be a true home field advantage. The games are already sold out. West Virginia, their whole athletic department, their whole state, pissed off about the basketball selection committee. They're going to invest all of their time and energy now into getting hammered drunk at home games in West Virginia and Morgantown. And I think that home
that
field
place will be a bubbling cauldron.
exactly. Like it's going to be a great
Water.
atmosphere. I don't have quite the vocabulary that Noah has, but yes. So I think West Virginia will take 2 out of 3. And I had one more point, but I can't remember. Go ahead, Jackson.
Clark.
Maybe I'll remember it.
Derek Clark.
Derek
Good name.
Clark.
Derek Clark. Yep.
Dude, bubbling cauldron. I'm gonna use that in every broadcast the rest of the spring. That was beautiful,
There
King.
we go.
I'll take West Virginia. I like the Mounties, and if they lose the series, their governor will sue Arizona, and we'll make sure to get that rubber match back. Mounties.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Dimitri also took West Virginia.
Okay.
So next series, Coastal at Troy. 2 schools that we love them. We love them here on the show. We've loved them for years. Coastal traveling away from home to go down to Troy. I'm expecting a full crowd, and also Troy's in the tournament, right? The basketball tournament. So when they get eliminated
Kentucky.
Thursday, all of their fans will be back for Friday for this weekend series. And look, I'll put it to you this way. I think the winner of this series could potentially
Host.
host a regional. Like this is a type of series you win. It sticks out on a resume. It improves your chances of hosting a regional tremendously. And like between Troy, Coastal Carolina, Southern Miss, and the other team in the Sun Belt that I'm forgetting right now. So are those the only 3 that could host this year? Am I missing somebody?
Troy, Southern Miss, Coastal.
I feel like I'm missing one.
You don't think Louisiana probably with some of their early
No,
losses?
Lafayette, no. They like last year potentially, but their RPI was bad. Wow, I guess it is only those 3. Georgia Southern probably not. James Madison, no. Texas State, no.
App
But
State's
anyway,
frisky, but they're not good enough to be a top 16.
right. So yeah, I guess this is a huge series, way bigger than I thought. 3 teams are battling right now for a Sun Belt title. But I like what Troy's been doing. I like what Troy's been doing pitching wise and offensively. It feels like they finally have the weekend rotation set. They got guys that they can rely on, and the bullpen's been great. Coming off of a weekend series win on the road at ULL. So give me Troy here at home. I like that play.
Yeah, I'm going to echo a lot of what Ben already said. And last season, the Trojans swept Coastal and Conway. And I'm one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm one of those that still can't put full faith in the Chanticleer's road offense. I don't know what it is, but they they just don't see it as well, I guess, away from Brooks. But this, like I said earlier, if I was still alive in the survivor pool, this would be a candidate of mine. I like the Trojans a lot here.
Yeah, so Troy is 17 in the RPI, Coastal is 14. The next highest, Southern Miss at 47. And then after that, surprisingly enough, is the Road Warriors of Old Dominion.
What's killed Southern Miss's RPI to be at 47? They have a win against Mississippi State, a win against Ole Miss,
series win against TCU on the road.
Yeah.
A series win against
the Lafayette 4-gamer. Is that what is an anchor right now?
Yeah, I would say not Louisiana Lafayette, like actual Lafayette. They have a series win against Louisiana Tech and UNCW, and they have a midweek win against UTRGV. That's why the RPI, you can't look at it too heavily right now.
No,
too early.
It'll lower itself out, but that is surprising. Southern Miss is in the 40s.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and congratulate Coastal Carolina. I'll take Troy as well. Wanted to shout out the entire Troy Trojan community. Know that they had some natural disasters head that way. A lot of coaches and families in that area impacted by what's going on. So our thoughts and prayers go out with them. And if there's anything that we can do to help spread the word, to help some families out down there, please let us know. So I think Riddle Pace will be a cool place to all get together this weekend and root on the Trojans. So they're playing for a little bit more than just themselves this weekend, which will be cool. I know Saturdays down there are nuts. So hopefully they got a good place to go and hang out to this weekend.
Yeah. Who did Dimitri take in this series?
He took Troy.
So we've got 3 sweeps at the bottom of that graphic that you guys are going to put out tomorrow.
Yeah, we all took Clemson. We all took Troy.
I'm not on the graphic though, so it's you 3.
Oh no!
Yeah,
I'm picking with my gut. I'm done picking off of what you guys think. I like it.
Wait, did somebody have we all picked the same so far?
Yeah, we've all picked the exact same teams, dude.
You, Jack, and Dimitri have all gone 3 for 3.
Or we're going 6-0. Not sure yet.
All right. Well, the next one, I know the next series. I know that me and Dimitri are different.
Okay.
What's UC Irvine at UC Santa Barbara? Noah, I'll let you kick it off, but Dimitri did take Irvine here.
All right. Yeah, as much as we do love UC Irvine, right now they're the number 1 team in the 11.7 mid-major top 25, but their starting rotation right now has a bunch of questions. They've kind of mixed and matched it. Recently, their Friday night starter, Danny Suarez, has been bumped from that role. We know he's got the wicked curveball, but opponents are hitting 600 against his fastball so far this season. He's got a 10.13 ERA on the year. So they've got like 3 guys that have had 1 start this season. They've all kind of thrown last weekend, and the one steady for them has been I believe it was Trevor Haskins is his name. He's been their best guy, a mid-4s ERA. But there's just too many questions for me on the pitching side. And you're going up against UCSB, who has had one of the more steady stabs in the country. Jackson Flores had a roller coaster up and down so far, but I like the Gauchos a lot in a bounce back weekend at home after losing that series on the island to Hawaii. I'll take the Gauchos over the Anteaters here.
Yeah, you just stole my thunder there. I was going to say the same thing. I as much as I like UC Irvine this year and think that they're offensively much more superior than Santa Barbara, the fact that I can't see Santa Barbara losing back-to-back weekend series, especially with this one at home. The Big West home teams have been dominating so far with series wins and games just won in general. So I do like the Gauchos at their home ballpark. I think the pitching will get it done, and you kind of touched on it, Noah. Like Irvine has some pitching question marks right now.
Yeah. So Trevor Hansen was the guy that I butchered his name. He's got a 4.10 ERA. He's the one steady rotational arm they have.
Yeah. I'm thinking your boy that has the 10 ERA is probably wishing you butchered his name, but no worries. I'll take the Eaters. I think their offense is good enough to win games, even if they throw the 3 of us on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Give me Coach Orloff. Give me UC Irvine. And before we hit these final two series, a shout out to hopefully a potential future sponsor. Uber Eats has arrived, Ben. Can you go check your front door?
Oh, is it here?
Looks like Miss Wendy has gone and dropped it off, and I want to make sure it's there for our friends that are listening at home. I lost an Uber Eats bet that I mentioned at the beginning of this pod. Mercer beats Florida State. I'm a man of my word. And Miss Wendy looks like she just dropped off her tropical smoothie beach bum white chocolate drink for Mr. Upton down in the Savannah, Georgia area. Hey, I'm a little bit concerned, Noah, you were there as I really struggled. I'm like an 88-year-old stuck in a 28-year-old body with technology. Noah, I could not get Ben's correct address plugged in. And trust me, I am a seasoned Uber Eats vet. So Uber Eats, shout out to 11.7. I know they're doing a lot of marketing stuff right
Crossing
now.
Crossing our fingers that it's right there on the porch.
I'm hoping to goodness that it's I'm hoping to goodness it was the right spot. What do you think, Noah? Do you think it got there?
I don't know. He screamed something, so hopefully it's there.
They wouldn't let me plug in his address. He says he's moved into a new neighborhood.
I got it. Let's go. Dude, I scared the poor girl. She was just standing there trying to take a picture of it.
She was still out there?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. Dude, this is delicious. What'd you call it?
It's a beach bum. It's a bona fide milkshake. Shout out to Tropical Smoothie. Shout out to Uber Eats. Those are two future sponsors. I can feel it in my loins. Congrats to Ben and the Mercer Bears.
This is the best $19 smoothie I've ever had.
Best $19 I've ever spent. Men of my word.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad
the Mercer Bears for taking down Lake Jarrett for the second straight year.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have a tropical smoothie near me because it sounds like $12 smoothies are all Jack's budget is going to.
Yeah, dude, I love them. And this is a true story. I went to Tropical Smoothie. I have the app, gaining points left and right. Love that place, Tropical Smoothie. Shout us out. And I ordered my tropical smoothie, and I live in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, and I ordered it to Mount Pleasant, Michigan. So they were real confused when I showed up, and it still wasn't there. So no, I should have had you go pick it up.
It's about 2 hours, 15 minutes from me. Shout out to their rival, Western Michigan. They took down the Michigan Wolverines yesterday, too.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
Bad week for Big Blue. Hey, was Miss Wendy nice out there? Should I tip her well?
I think I spooked her.
Okay, then I'll tip her well. I'll tip her $5.
We always tip
well.
That's
a $24 smoothie.
11.7 always tips well.
Yeah. If you want to talk 11.7, I want you to think of three things: great tippers, mid-major junkies. I need a third.
Pencils.
Nah. Yeah, pencil pushers.
Dude, I am loving this. This is unbelievable.
There's a little pregame, little C4 action before we talk about these last two series. Got you feeling right.
Yeah. Where we lead? So we left off.
Tennessee, Bama time.
Tennessee at Bama. Both of them struggled in the midweek, or at least got caught off guard by some good mid-major teams.
Yeah.
We've already talked about it. I bet Bama was so upset when they saw Tennessee lost. That's the best way to put this.
Uh-huh.
Tennessee losing, Bama was like, golly, dude. Like, they're not going to be farting around. Like, they're going to be focused from them. And not saying that they wouldn't be anyways, but you guys catch my drift. Tennessee is going to be extra focused when they get to Tuscaloosa. Noah, go ahead and lead us off with this series. And Dimitri did take Tennessee, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, in my notes, I wrote a little bit of that down. But these are Tennessee's first road games of the season. It's a relatively inexperienced squad. So that's one way to put it. The other way to put it is the first road game. You're coming off a loss in the midweek to ETSU. It is probably a tough spot for Bama because you have to probably assume that Tennessee is going to win game one with a good Liam Doyle bounce back start after Florida was able to work his pitch count, get him out of there in the fourth inning. I'm sure he wants to go a little bit deeper in this one. So I'll chalk up game one to the Vols. There should be plenty of runs scored in this series by each team because game two, I think Riley Quick should be able to go quite well for the Crimson Tide. So the way I see it, Alabama might take game 2. I do think the one hole of this Tony Vitello team this year is they don't necessarily, and I'm poking holes in a team that has one loss on the entire year. They don't necessarily trust a third starter, correct? Because Brandon Arvidsson hasn't been totally sharp this season. And Tegan Kuhns, he's had a short leash in both starts that he's made so far this season. They would prefer to not use Nate Snead in relief in game 1 or game 2 and let him go 4 or 5 to open up that game 3. But it seems like in most series, they're fine piggybacking Snead in one game and just throwing 2 pitchers, and whether it's the Doyle start or in game 2 with Marcus Phillips. So I think the key to Bama this series is to make sure you see Snead in game 1 or game 2. Game 3, I got the home team putting up plenty of runs and winning this series in game 2 and game 3.
Taking Bama.
I'm taking the Crimson Tide. Roll Tide.
I love where you're at. I love where your head's at. I think this is a battle of 2 of the not only like best young coaches in the SEC, but in the whole country, between Rob Vaughn and Tony Vitello. I call them young. They're probably in their 40s, but who cares? I don't know if I've ever said this on the show, but I used to watch Rob Vaughn play in high school. And I got to meet him in person for probably the 3rd time, but the first time in the last 20 years and in Jacksonville. And awesome guy, down to earth, but you could tell he's a leader of men. And I do like Bama to win a game this series, maybe because of the road factor that Noah already talked about, or the question marks that Tennessee doesn't have quite the roles pitching-wise. But at the end of the day, Tennessee's the best team in the country. I'm not going to fade them now. I'm going to take Tennessee, and but I do want to predict that it will come down to Sunday's rubber match. I think it'll be 1-1 going into Sunday.
I got to tell you, I feel like this is going to sound so stupid because we're talking about the guy that gets pissed when his team run the rules other teams in like the 7th and 8th inning. But don't you think maybe a little bit internally that Tennessee coaching staff was like, all right, we got the loss out of the way. Like, okay, now we get to use it as a little bit of like, hey, see, you slip up, anybody can get us, right? Everyone keeps telling you the best team in the country. Not anymore. So, yeah, Alabama's got to be so bummed that they didn't get a chance to, like, take that first loss away from them. Like, they got to be so bummed. With that being said, I think it was – I want to make sure I get it right. Sam Thorne, one of those awesome Vol Twitter fans that was on there, and I believe 2 days ago he tweeted out that it had been 1 full year since they had lost a series last. Like, isn't that insane to think that they went the rest of the year in the SEC?
Do you know who they lost?
Series? And who did they lose to?
Alabama.
No, but the Tide. I think Alabama gets them. You guys have broken it down from a matchup standpoint perfectly. I really thought I was going to be all alone on the graphic here. Noah, I'm with you. Now I'm also zigging while I'm zagging. Where like, hey, I haven't lost in a year. I thought I was going to be the one to jinx it by retweeting Sam Thorne, being like, well, here they come. Here comes the loss. I could see Tennessee going down and sweeping. But I do think Riley Quick is that good. Like on Saturdays, I think he might be the best Saturday starter in the country. And I think that those 3 wins against A&M last weekend were a lot more to be said about A&M about Alabama than they were about A&M to win the way that they did late in the game. I think Alabama home fans are going to be really excited to rally around this group and Rob Vaughn. So I'll take the Tide. I'll ride with you. No, let's go to work. Let's go to work. I can't. Tennessee fans are going to be pissed. I've been in the foxhole with them for a long time, but I think they should be really excited to see me in the other dugout.
Noah, give us a hypothetical line for Friday night.
I guess that line,
I undershot it by about $1.40 last week with Florida, Tennessee. So Friday night, Tennessee at Bama, I would probably say minus 190 Tennessee.
I think you're going to be shocked. I think Doyle's going to get the Chase Burns treatment this year, where every time he steps foot on the mound, you're looking at almost minus 300. Seriously,
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. LSU at Texas. final series, probably the series I'm most excited for. Not only because you get to see Kate Anderson versus Jared Spencer on Friday, which will be a treat, like an absolute treat to see two of the best lefties face off against each other. But I I look at both of these teams as not only like College World Series contenders, like they're both national championship contenders, and especially the way that LSU has played offensively. I thought that they would be a little less offensive this year compared to other years, but like Bear Jones is putting balls in the parking lot. Like Hunter Milan, like these guys look very comfortable in the box. No, I'm sorry. You can lead off here. I almost spoiled my pick, but Dimitri did take LSU.
First road games for LSU as well in this
Yeah.
one, and I think it's super important because last year LSU went 3-12 on the road in the SEC, and this is, albeit probably a better squad than last year, but they're younger, and I think going to the Dish is going to be a tough trip for this group. I had Texas as a SEC contender coming in the season, much like Ben did. I view them very similar to him. I'm not budging from that prediction. A road sweep at Duty Noble is super impressive. I'll take the Horns. I think they have like the goods right now. I think Texas is rolling, so I'll take the Horns.
Yeah, both of Texas's losses have come in extra innings. The opening day loss to
Which they
Louisville,
were winning for 8 innings. That they
were
kind of
winning
gave
the
that
whole
away with a couple of errors.
right, and then UTSA snaps their 17-game winning streak yesterday, tying it up in the 9th, and then winning in extras. This series is so tough for me to predict. My brain says go Texas, don't fade the facility, but my heart does say LSU right now. I think this LSU team is more special than they're given credit for. And look, I know we talked about like, oh, should they be number one or Tennessee? Blah blah blah. The whole world's talking about it, but I agree. I think LSU and Tennessee, when it all comes down to it, are the two best teams in the country from top to bottom. And I'll take LSU on the road here to win two. They won't sweep. They'll win two though.
Give me Texas. I
That was
think
the easiest prediction.
I give me
ever.
Texas. They're at home. I think you're right. I think 1 and 2, and I think it's everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if it's not going to be Texas and Texas A&M in the College World Series final, which I think is script 1A for the writers, script 2 is going to be the two programs that have dominated the sport over the last 2 years. With Tennessee and LSU playing for a College World Series, you go back to the SEC championship last year. To me, the way that because I feel like I can't get enough of him. Like I love those Jay Johnson interviews because if you know Jay Johnson, if you watched him from afar, like he lives this every day. He never turns it off. And he's so passionate about this damn team. Like the way that he's talking about this group is the way that he talked about those seniors that helped him win it 2 years ago. Like the way that he buzzes about this group is different. With that being said, I think the boys out in left field, I think occupy left field and the Longhorns. This feels like another opportunity for a statement start in the SEC, right? Like, hey, want to play SEC baseball? Why don't we send you to Duty Noble first, then host the Tigers second, right? It just feels like to what Noah said, like they got the goods. They got something rolling. Max Wiener's got that staff firing on all cylinders. And I'll take Texas at home. It's a rubber match as well, just like Alabama. And also, this is the third week in the row that I've heard Noah say fade the facility, and I'm now 5 of 6 on my home guys. So I feel good about those numbers.
Very good. Very, very good. All right. Any closing thoughts before we get out of here, fellas?
First half unders in March Madness.
It's
Is
a
that a thing?
great last thought. Oh, yeah, it's a big thing.
Should we make a quick college basketball prediction? Who's going to win it all?
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm down.
All right.
Bam.
I'll take the Cougars. Houston Cougars, repping the home city.
Good
I
pick.
like it. For the H. I'll take Bama. Roll Tide Willie. Yeah.
My
Florida.
Gators are really good this year. I'll
Good
take
pick.
Florida.
Good
All right,
pick.
cool.
My shout out. Can I get one last shout out?
Oh, yeah, one last. Go ahead.
Uber Eats Tropical Smoothie. Call us. That's all I got.
Seriously, I would give you free advertisement if we just had free smoothies. This thing is
What?
incredible.
I'll get
Well, cool.
tropical smoothie tattooed on my butt if they call and give us free smoothies.
I'll match.
The match.
I'll match it. Well, cool. All right. Well, you guys enjoy watching basketball, watching baseball. A lot of fun sporting events this weekend. So you guys enjoy it. We'll be back Sunday night. And actually, maybe not. We might be Monday next week because Noah's going to be busy with Sunday basketball, correct?
I would be available Sunday. We'll be doing our show Monday from recapping everything.
All right. Then we'll recap Sunday night. It'll be a blast.
Perfect.
So thank you, everybody, for listening. I'm going to finish this smoothie, and we'll see you Sunday.